Welcome to a night where the veil between worlds thins, where the masks we wear hide true monsters, and where the line between trick and terror blurs. Tonight, we unearth not just spooky tales, but chilling confessions and harrowing encounters that happened on Halloween, or around it, leaving indelible scars. Prepare yourself, because these are not mere fictions. These are the moments when reality itself became a nightmare, leaving those who lived through them forever changed. What if the very night designed for fun and fright held something far more sinister in store for you? Let these true stories be a warning, a whisper from the shadows that some horrors are all too real. 2 years ago, working a late shift at Spirit Halloween on Halloween night, I encountered 2 suspicious men who bought Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees masks. Later, my phone disappeared. That night, after arriving home, a knock at my door revealed no one, but on my doorstep sat those 2 masks. Inside the Jason mask, I found my phone, its wallpaper replaced with a distant, unsettling photo of me leaving the store. They had stolen my phone, followed me home, and left a chilling message, watching me from the shadows. I never slept that night, haunted by the thought of being a target. On a Halloween night a few years ago at a wild party, a group of friends decided to play with a Ouija board in the cold, musty basement, despite my fervent warnings against messing with spirits. Just do it and see what happens, I told them, dismissing their taunts of cowardice. Hours later, a text informed me they were in a car crash. Lucas, claiming an invisible hand, yanked the steering wheel. To this day, Lucas avoids Halloween parties and Ouija boards, haunted by recurring dreams of a dark figure in that basement. Some lines should never be crossed, especially on Halloween. When I was 11, trick-or-treating with my best friend Lily, my joyful candy collecting was abruptly shattered as I was violently shoved to the ground by a man in a gorilla costume, running as if from a demon. Minutes later, sirens wailed, and news broke of a triple murder at a Halloween party by a man in a gorilla suit. The sickening realization dawned. I had been pushed by a killer on the run. The musty smell of his sweat, the brief, mad glimpse through the mask's eye holes, that Halloween night transformed my innocent childhood into a memory forever tainted by terror, a secret we kept for years. My childhood with my grandmother held fragmented memories of a boy named Alvin, a name that made her uncomfortable and my mother deeply shocked. Years of questions about this imaginary friend were met with evasion. After my grandmother's death, exploring her backyard, I found my dog, Booby, frantically digging under an apple tree, a tree she later fenced off and for which Booby was sent away. Underneath it, partially unearthed, was a small skull. The horrifying truth emerged. It was Alvin, my half-brother, murdered and buried by my grandmother when I was 4. While my parents had me believe they were working far away to cope with the trauma. For 12 years, I had played over my brother's grave, a secret kept by the woman who raised me, forever changing my understanding of family and the darkness hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. I fell for Mary, the charming niece of David, the owner of a new set. but David grew possessive, then disappeared, supposedly due to an accident, leaving Mary in charge. Strange things began. Bruises on Mary, foul-smelling meat clogging the store's toilet, and then the disappearance of another employee, Joan. My curiosity led me to the store's back room, where I found a chainsaw, before Mary, enraged, threw me out. A week later, the police called. Mary was gone, a prime suspect. David's head and hands were found in that back room. Joan's dismembered body wrapped neatly, both victims of the woman I loved. I had been dating a demon, oblivious as I consumed what might have been human flesh, a horrifying realization that still curdles my blood. Working the isolated night shift at Oasis Fuel, sandwiched between a highway and endless forest. Loneliness was my only company until almost 3 a.m. A figure stood at the forest edge, beckoning. Against my better judgment, flashlight in hand, I stepped into the suffocating darkness, drawn by an unspoken question. Whispering voices surrounded me, and then, between two trees, I saw it. A pale, hairless face with two bottomless black eyes like pits of despair. My dying flashlight saved me, sending me bolting out later. A hidden logbook revealed another former employee, Daniel, had seen the same face, his entry ending abruptly with "Don't go in there. It doesn't want to help, it wants." The chilling realization. I wasn't the first to be lured, and the forest, a hunting ground, sought new prey, its pale guardian waiting, perhaps to make me its next spectral beckoner. A mysterious $1,000 cash job found me guarding a man named Brad's house on a gloomy night. My mission: protect his wife's sleep. Upstairs, the stench of decay grew overwhelming. Brad pulled back a blanket, revealing a badly decomposed corpse's wife, Megan. My blood ran cold, but then Brad's eyes fixed on me, accusing, "You caused the accident and ran away," he hissed. The face of the corpse, though horrific, triggered a memory. A hit and run I fled a year ago, leaving a woman bleeding. I was the one who had left Megan to die. Brad, consumed by grief and hatred, exacted his revenge, beating me until the police, alerted by my frantic call, burst in. I woke in a hospital, facing charges. My selfish act on that fateful night now returned to haunt me in the most grotesque way imaginable. On a late-night New York City bus, exhausted from work, I couldn't help but peek at a young woman's phone. Her texts chilled me. "It is done. Just the cleanup left. Are you sure the place near the river will be safe?" My heart pounded, convinced I was witnessing a murder plot. Then, a new message flashed on her screen. There, as a guy who's been staring at my phone. What should I do now? My blood ran cold. Seconds later, her boyfriend's chilling reply, "Deal with him right away." The man in front of me, previously unnoticed, stood then sat beside me, slowly pulling out a steel folding knife. The woman watched, an unreadable smile on her face, as time on that bus stood still for me, caught in a nightmare of my own making, my curiosity sealing my fate. Desperate for a taxi late one night, I jumped into a cab already occupied by a seemingly drunk, pale girl in a high-neck sweater, her face obscured by hair. The driver, masked and agitated, reluctantly agreed to take me for double fare. The air was thick with alcohol and an unsettling odor. A hard stop sent the girl's head banging against the window, yet she didn't stir. The driver refused app payment and sped off after dropping me, leaving me with an eerie feeling. The next day, news broke. The taxi driver was murdered in a carjacking, and a young girl, Alita, was missing. Police found the taxi miles away, soaked with blood, and later Alita's body, her throat slashed. The horrifying truth: the driver was her killer boyfriend, Gary, impersonating a cabbie. I had ridden for 30 minutes with a brutal murderer and the body of his victim, oblivious to the silent horror beside me, a memory that still makes me shiver to my core.